The upcoming film, Michael, based on the life and times of pop music superstar Michael Jackson, promises to be something more than just another biopic. With an acclaimed director at the helm and starring a Jackson in the lead role, this indeed could be one of the most unique movies of all time. But with the recent news of the film's delay and possibly splitting this movie into two parts, do fans have a reason to be concerned? We're diving into that today and a lot more, so let's get to it. Hey kids, what is up? Welcome back to Tom Clark Reviews, the only pop culture show starring a guy named Tom Clark who looks like this, wearing this, and saying stuff. Before we get started here today, do me a favor, kids, if you will, hit like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any future content from Boink Studios. And today we're talking about the Michael Jackson biopic simply titled Michael, which chronicles the life and career of the late legendary singer from his time in the Jackson 5 to his solo career leading up to his untimely death in 2009. Full disclosure, I was a big Michael Jackson fan growing up. How big of a fan was I, you ask? Well, I had the glove, the glitter glove, and I had the Thriller jacket. And yes, I wore it all the time. I may have even worn it to school. I may have even got teased relentlessly. But look, you have to understand, if you didn't grow up during that time, you can't really appreciate how incredibly massive Michael Jackson was. I mean, he was the biggest star on the planet. There was no doubt about it. And I was a huge fan of his music, huge fan of Thriller, huge fan of Bad. I mean, again, he was everywhere all the time. You couldn't turn on a TV. It didn't have to be MTV. You could not turn on a TV or a radio without hearing Michael Jackson. That's just how it was. I mean, in this day and age, we always talk about pop culture. I do it too, all the time. But honestly, Michael Jackson was pop culture. He was it. There was him and there was Prince. Also, by the way, huge Prince guy here as well. Just want to throw that out there to you. Also, when are we getting that biopic? Now, when it comes to who's filling the glittered socks and black shoes of the king of pop, it's not just any guy. It's not just some actor who's stepping in. This is actually Jafar Jackson, who is Michael's nephew and the son of Jermaine Jackson. Now, I personally love this move. I mean, Jafar is already a singer and a dancer. He's Michael's nephew. He looks like him. He's going to be singing in the movie. I'm not sure if he can act, but we're all going to find out together because this movie is going to be his acting debut. Now, this movie was actually supposed to come out in April of 2025. And while there was a lot of buzz about this movie back in 2024, things have been fairly quiet until recently, when it was announced that the film's release was being pushed back to 2026. But as I said, we'd already missed the release date, so the delay wasn't a huge surprise. The 2026 date, however, was to some degree. Now, considering the time of year where we are already in 2025 here, I don't know if they would have even have had time, even if the movie was finished, to get this thing out in this calendar year. I mean, even if it would have happened, it would have been maybe Christmas, which is maybe a time that they didn't really want. I mean, you got to think about post-production. You got to think about all the marketing involved, everything that goes along with actually promoting and pushing a movie before it even comes out. Would they have had time? I don't know if they would have. Now, this film is being directed by the great Antoine Fuqua, who is aiming to present a comprehensive and nuanced portrayal of Michael Jackson's life. Fuqua has emphasized a commitment to factual storytelling, striving to humanize without sanitizing the narrative. Now let's talk about the cast. We have Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson. Great choice, by the way. This dude's awesome actor. If you don't know who he is, look him up because he's fantastic. We also have Nia Long as Katherine Jackson. Again, another very solid choice. Nia Long, very talented actor. Kat Graham as Diana Ross. If you don't like this, I question where your head's at because, again, to me, this is another great choice. Lawrence Tate as Barry Gordy. I can't say enough about this cast, kids. This stuff's looking good. Kendrick Sampson as Quincy Jones. How can you not be excited for this cast? That's what I have to know. Not only in terms of how they look based on the actual people they're portraying, but also the fact that these are some very talented people. We've also got Miles Teller as John Bronca, who you may or may not know from Michael's life. He was actually Michael's manager. He's also an entertainment lawyer and the co-executor of Michael's estate. Plus, he's listed as a producer on this film. Again, I'm high on this cast. I mean, we're talking about seasoned actors being brought together to play pivotal roles in this film. But you know, while I love it, while I think there are some great people attached to this project, I want to know what you think. Do you think they nailed it with these casting choices? Would you have liked to have seen someone else? Do me a favor, hit the comments and let me know. We don't have a whole lot to go on here at the moment, kids. We don't even have a teaser to review here on the show, but we are going to get down to the nitty gritty in terms of a little bit of speculation. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the in between, at least that we know of so far. First, the good. Michael's music is expected to feature very heavily here with a comprehensive selection of his hits, showcasing his evolution as an artist. Jafar Jackson's involvement suggests a potential for more authentic performances, of course, though it's unclear whether the Jafar will actually do all of the singing himself or lip sync to original recordings, or maybe a mixture of both. We'll just have to wait and see. For Michael Jackson fans who grew up with his music, who grew up listening to him and watching him as an artist, this is going to be a trip down memory lane. That's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be awesome to see this up on the big screen and to see his life play out, his career play out. So that's one of the biggest reasons I'm actually looking forward to this film. Now, for all the younger fans who did not grow up with Michael, who came along after Michael passed, you are in for a treat, because if they get just a tenth of his charisma, his career, his music, his sound, his dancing, everything up on the big screen, then you're going to be knocked out, because Michael was absolutely a superstar. He was one of a kind. Going to be hard to duplicate it. Let's be real. But look, everything this guy accomplished during his career, I mean, from the Pepsi commercial to marrying Lisa Marie Presley to having the biggest album of all time and everything in between, this is a story that needs to be told. It's a long time coming, if you ask me. But now let's talk about the bad. The biggest issue, as we said, stems from the fact that this movie was originally slated for an April 2025 release, but has been delayed due to legal complications and the need for significant reshoots. A key scene involving the 1993 allegations against Jackson violated a settlement agreement, necessitating changes to the script and additional filming. As of now, the release has been pushed to 2026, as we said, with discussions about splitting the film into two parts due to its extensive runtime. Anytime there's reshoots announced for a film, it usually comes across as a bad thing. And honestly, we've seen, historically speaking, of course, that, yeah, it's usually not a good sign. If there's any Marvel Comics guys out there, any comic book film guys out there and gals, then you know what I'm talking about. Anytime you hear the word reshoots, you automatically get nervous. Sometimes it's warranted and substantiated. Sometimes it's not. I mean, sometimes just reshoots have to happen for whatever reason. But does that mean that the quality of this movie is not going to be good? That this film's going to be affected by these reshoots? That this is not going to be the Michael Jackson legendary biopic that we've all imagined it could be? I mean, it's possible. Also, what if it gets delayed again? What if there's more reshoots? I mean, what happens then? Are we still talking about this a year from now? Will this movie be close to coming out a year from now? Honestly, just as an aside, by the way, I'm a big Beatles guy. And for anyone paying attention, there are 4 Beatles films coming out in the year 2028, directed by Sam Mendes, with each film taking a different perspective from each of the 4 different Beatles. I still don't know how I feel about this. As I said, I'm a big fan, but I've got fingers crossed that this thing comes out great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But honestly, I'm really looking forward to that as well. So when it was announced that the Jackson film would be split into 2 parts, I didn't lose a whole lot of sleep over that. As long as everything moves intentionally and there's reasoning behind it, hopefully it'll be fine. But, as we always say, fingers crossed. By the way, do you think all this is a problem? Are you nervous about the reshoots? Do you think that this film is already dead before it even comes out? Do me a favor, hit the comments, let me know. Let's talk about it. Now let's cover the in-between, including anticipation and expectations. Given the film's ambition and the challenges it faces, expectations are high. Fans hope for a portrayal that does justice to Michael's legacy, balancing his musical genius with the controversies that surrounded him. The decision to cast a family member in the lead role adds a layer of intimacy, but also raises questions about objectivity. I mean, honestly, let's get real for a second. Just how accurate is this film going to be? Are we going to get the real Michael Jackson? Are we going to get a sanitized version of this guy because it's what the family wants us to see? Are we going to get the Michael Jackson who's soft-spoken and shy and had the chimp and had the Neverland Ranch and shied from the public eye and maybe was quirky, perhaps a bit bizarre? Are we going to get that guy? Or are we going to get the musical genius whose voice we heard all the time wasn't his actual voice? That was a character. That wasn't how he sounded. he was doing something different for the camera than he was doing behind the scenes. And we're going to get that guy, a true artist, a brilliant songwriter, a brilliant musician, a brilliant dancer, an artist in every sense of the word. Is that who we're going to get? Are we going to get something altogether different? Is there going to be a third version of this we don't even know about yet? Despite what happens, despite what version we may get, Michael promises to be a significant cinematic event, offering a deep dive into the life of one of music's most groundbreaking, talented, yet enigmatic figures. While delays and production hurdles have tempered some enthusiasm, the film's potential to provide a nuanced and comprehensive portrayal keeps anticipation alive. So now I want to hear from you. Are you looking forward to this film? Are you anxious to see how Jafar works out? Are you anxious to see the cast? Are you anxious to see Michael Jackson brought back to life, this time on the silver screen, where his music and his dancing and his voice and everything that goes along with it, the character, the mystique, the brilliance of this guy, are you ready for all of that on the big screen? Or do you have concerns about whether or not this film's even a good idea? Do me a favor, hit the comments, let me know what you think. In the meantime, stay tuned for a lot more. Remember to hit like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any future content from Boink Studios. Thanks for watching Tom Clark Reviews, and we'll see you next time, kids.